Hi there. My name is Dave Shepard, and I'm the Director of Sales at Hubspot. I look after the sales team for the Australia and New Zealand region of the world. What I want to talk to you about today is a little bit about how you can map your marketing and sales process to the way the modern buyer kind of shops and makes their purchasing decisions. I think the main takeaway that you can take away from today is that it's no longer about how you kind of beat people over the head and kind of subdue them into buying your products. You have to find a way to be helpful, to do it on the buyer's own terms. And you want to set up your entire sales and marketing process. But we kind of coin here internally at HubSpot as the smarketing process. And I think that's a good way to think about it because, I don't really believe that there's like a marketing process that's going on and then that stops and then the salespeople pick it up. It's really kind of one coherent customer attraction process. And you need to do a lot in terms of your business to make that work in terms of how do you attract more people to maybe your website or to actually get to know you. How do you turn that person into a lead? How do you give them to the sales team and nurture them down the sales and marketing process? Then once they become a customer, how do you leverage that and provide them a really great experience so they actually spin off more referrals? And that kind of creates this never-ending cycle where you get more and more customers. So let's dive into each one of those steps. So I like to start at the very beginning. Like if you have a person out there that's a stranger, they have no idea who you are as a business, but they have a problem that you could solve. How do you actually get them to know about you? We call this whole practice kind of inbound marketing, and it's about kind of growing your awareness and kind of turning your website into your very best salesperson. So the way you want to do that is by creating content, right? And we're talking about very specifically about how do you turn a stranger into a visitor. You get them onto your website. And what you want to do is you want to create helpful content that answers people's questions, that solves their problems. And the traditional way of doing this is blog posts. Social media posts can work really well. Video is working out better and better. I think my brother no longer, he's much younger than me. He doesn't go to Google anymore to search for answers. He goes to YouTube. So I think that's a great way of helping people and kind of attracting them to your website by creating a lot of great content. And of course, you're going to promote that all over social media, trying to get some virality there. But that's really how you answer that first step of turning a stranger into a visitor. Now, once they get to the website, what do you do then? Well, the trick is that most of the time, most websites convert less than 1% of their traffic into a lead, which means that you have just boatloads of people who are totally anonymous to you. You don't know who those people are. And so what you want to do is you want to turn those anonymous eyeballs into real people, okay? There's a bunch of great ways you can do that. You can leverage chat on your website. You can leverage ebooks and webinars and other sorts of kind of free giveaways. And in exchange, people can give you their name and email address and phone number. That's a great way to do it. But that's what we call the convert stage. You have a visitor on your website, you don't know who they are, but how do you kind of help them by giving away something for free or interacting with them in real time the way they want to be interacted with to turn them into a lead. So now you have their name information. What do you do from there? Now we're talking about bridging the gap between marketing and sales. So on the marketing side of the house, you want to create really good automation. Maybe you send emails out based upon people's activity on your website or what they downloaded. That's a great idea. Maybe you route them to the sales team right away because you've identified that this type of person is the perfect type of person for your sales team to talk to. Again, this is where we kind of bridge the gap between sales and marketing. And HubSpot also has a bunch of tools that can help you with this stuff, obviously. From there, we're really talking about how do we now engage this person in a more meaningful conversation. So some things that you might do here is you might offer a free assessment. That's what we do here at HubSpot. We actually offer an assessment of a prospect's website in terms of how that website is really positioned to help them grow as a business. And I think there's a lot of other great examples out there. across all sorts of different industries, where you can really turn that first initial sales conversation into being something much more helpful to the prospect than it is necessarily helpful for the salesperson. Now, I'm not going to make any wild, assertions here that salespeople don't want to make sales, right? They're not in it just to be helpful. But if you can switch the paradigm there and help your sales reps become much more helpful to those prospects, I think that's a much better way of doing business. Of course, you want to pique the interest of that prospect to move on to the next stage. So typically after that, if you had a really good conversation, you understand what that prospect's needs are, the natural result of that is that prospect wants to learn more about how you might be able to help that customer, help them. So typically from there, you want to then offer them either a free trial or maybe a demo of your product. Again, we're kind of increasing that level of engagement there. And so each stage of this sales and marketing process, at every point, the customer or the prospect gets a chance to decide if they want to continue the engagement. And then from your side as a business, you're trying to incentivize them through the process that you have designed to kind of keep moving forward with you. And so it's a little bit of a back and forth where both sides get some value from the conversation. Now, ultimately, we hope that conversation ends in a sale. And then from there, it's really all about how do you as a company deliver on the promise that was made in the sales process to make sure that customer becomes a raving fan of yours. And I think this is a really important part. You want to move into a world where you're servicing your customers as best as possible, because the best marketing is word of mouth. When one of your friends tells you about this product or service they've had and they're just raving about it, doesn't that make you want to try it? Of course it does, if it fits with what you're trying to do. This happens all the time. I think sometimes in business we think that's a really hard process to master. How do you turn regular customers into raving fans? But it's something I think each of us as business owners or people that are in business, we need to make a really good effort at that. Because what happens is as you turn those customers into raving fans, that then goes back to the kind of the top of our conversation, which means you're now getting more strangers to know who you are. And now that cycle just kind of keeps going over and over and over again, where your customers are now improving your marketing is improving your sales is improving the number of customers you have, and it just goes on and on and on. And so that's really the inbound process. I hope you've gotten a lot out of our kind of quick talk here today. I think that the key takeaway is that in our modern world today, people are changing constantly in terms of the way they shop and buy. And our challenge as sales and marketers is to stay ahead of what our customers want and figure out new and powerful ways to be helpful so that we stand out from the rest of our competition, and that people would much rather do business with us because we're anticipating their needs and how they want to be dealt with in a way that just makes our products and our companies the very obvious solution for what they have and what they need. Again, my name is Dave Shepard. I'm the Director of Sales here for Hubspot in the Australia-New Zealand region. I hope you got a whole lot of value out of this. Take care.